Welcome back to another episode of Three Uncool Cats. Tonight we're going to try to do something a little special. We got, Bob brought us a 38 special album, so we're going to try to do this in 38 minutes on the dot.
We got a timer.
That's special.
So that means long story short has to be long story short. That means Bob's scoring system, we might have to edit that down a little bit. But
Truncate it a bit.
We're still going to get it. He's promised us.
We'll get it.
So like I said, Bob brought us Strength in Numbers from 38 Special from the grand old year of 1986. Good Lord,
That's
that was
the year
a
I
couple years
graduated.
ago.
I graduated in 1986.
The year my son was born.
So let's let Bob tell us why he brought this to our attention.
38 Special. Well, when I started listening to 38 Special, it was probably in early 1989. I may have heard them before that.
I just have a really quick question because I don't know their history. Were they a 70s band? For some reason I thought they started... Okay.
79.
Okay, all right. So
kind of the first album I found.
Kind of the transition. Okay,
Yeah.
Sorry.
So anyway, I hadn't heard them up until the late 80s. But yes, they, being that the one of the main guys in it is a Van Sant.
What?
Oh, I didn't know that
didn't know
either.
that.
Oh, did
Donnie
you?
Van Sant, who is the brother of Ronnie Van Sant, which was the head master of Lyn Skyn. And then
That's
Johnny.
not how you say it.
Huh?
That's not how you say it.
You don't say it like that?
Skinner.
Yeah, Skinner. Leonard
Skinner.
Yeah, well, they were brothers, you know. and then Johnny, Donnie, and Ronnie. And Johnny
Was it New
is
Kids on the Block?
well, Johnny is the one that took over.
Oh yeah, he's doing it
when
now.
Ronnie died in a plane crash in 1977. So Donnie is in with a bunch of guys. And what was interesting to me, what I found out way after the fact, is that all those guys grew up in Jacksonville, Florida.
Yep.
You're talking Greg Allman,
I was
Dwayne
gonna say,
Allman,
Warren Haynes is from down there. Derek Trucks is from down there.
all those guys, and
Tom Petty's
Lynyrd
from down
Skynyrd guys, and 38 Special guys, and the Allman Brothers. They all played. They all went to school together.
Yep.
Can you imagine having that kind of talent roaming the halls of the school?
Yeah.
I mean, my school did because I was there.
Well, you were probably roaming the halls.
I was. No, I wasn't because my dad was a teacher. So.
There you go.
See, I can't even think of anything smart aleck.
My dad saw me in the hall. He said, "Where's your bathroom pass?" I had to show him my pass. He wouldn't even let me go.
I like your dad even more. Every time you tell a dad story, I like your dad even more.
Yeah, yeah. I see how you're. I see how you are.
So all that talent.
All that talent came from Jacksonville, Florida, which was they had four naval bases in right around that area.
Yeah.
And all these guys at 15 years old were playing what they call it, the Zader dances or whatever. It's whatever the Navy guys had as far as entertainment and dances and concerts and that kind of thing. So these young guys are playing.
I got kicked out of the Navy. I can't talk about it.
Yeah, well. Anyway, they got their experience.
Don't talk. Don't ask. Don't tell.
Go ahead, tell.
It involved a donkey and a pumpkin. That's all I'll say about it.
Oh,
My goodness. It's a shirt. It's a shirt.
Yeah, this is
involved the donkey and the pumpkin. Is
okay. Are we at 38 minutes yet? No. But anyway, I'm gonna jump forward to when I started listening to him. I had gone through a rough point in my life.
Is this marriage number 5?
No. Not going to tell you what that rough spot was. But here's where I found myself in a department store, and I was in the tape section. The cassettes back in those days were the hot item.
Oh, I remember.
And I remember hearing on the loudspeaker up above the song Second Chance, which is 38 Special. And when the announcer, said what the song was and who did it, I went straight and bought the cassette, and that was this one.
Huh.
And No,
So-
I'm thinking not.
Okay, I'm so confused.
Okay, me too.
Uh,
Is that on the list?
What? I'm so confused.
Is Second Chance on this album?
No.
Is it? No.
Did you give us the wrong?
I gave you the wrong album. Hot
Great.
dog. Which one's it on?
Yeah, Second Chance isn't on this one.
Okay, so let me just proceed with my story. Because what I really did was went and bought the album that had that song on it, and I liked it a lot. I liked the.
He actually bought a Prince album. He's so
No, it was 38 Special, and I really enjoyed the rock and roll sound that they had. Primarily, the lead vocal.
Yeah.
Actually, the vocals in general.
Yeah,
And
he's
the
got
lead
a great
guitar.
voice. Oh man, what a guitar player!
Jeff Carlisi.
Yep. What a name too.
Yeah, he's got a great name. I heard I listened to one of his things on YouTube, and he's a cool guy. And
That's one of the things that listening to this album. It was when they started getting kind of that 80s pop, because they started out as Southern rock. They're a Southern rock band. And then, you can tell the 80s pop influences on here, but if you listen, even though it's got that 80s pop flavor, there's some great guitar work on this.
Mm-hmm.
Great. They're doing little riffs. They're doing, little
harmonies.
Yeah, they're doing the harmonies. They're, he's using little triads and dyads, and they're doing this and that. It's so good.
And Husker Do's and whatnot.
That's right. Yep.
and
Well, I don't know what album you were listening to because I didn't hear that.
you didn't hear that.
All I heard was the 80s pop part.
Look,
Yep.
I would challenge
I
you.
thought the mix was absolutely horrendous on this album. And come to find out
He listened to it on his phone.
that this is the wrong album. Maybe the one he wanted us to listen to was better.
No,
but
no,
to
no.
force me to listen to it, the
No.
mix was terrible.
I got to tell you, you're wrong.
It
was awesome.
I thought the mix
I
was
listened to it
good.
through my stereo in the truck.
Here's
It was terrible.
Here's where I
It's
think
hollow. There's nothing there. It was just like
It's not what I
sounded
heard.
like mono in there.
no, it was on purpose. This is a different era for one thing.
Yeah.
In the 80s, they were trying to do things to be played on the radio.
Yeah.
But one of the things that they set out to do was leave space in between the notes. And that was one of the things that
I mean,
one
the
of them
space
said.
between the notes was the best part, I thought.
Yeah, well, man.
It reminds me
well,
of like when you watch a TV show and the band, like one of the dudes on the TV show's in a band and then they go to the bar and the band, that's what the band sounds
Yeah.
like. Like
Well-
he's like Brandon Walsh from 90210. It's like his band up there playing
Yeah.
or something.
So all right. So I'll give you this.
He's wrong this time. He's wrong. I'm telling
Yeah,
you.
I'll give you this, Andrew. This was when I think of,
You're right.
And it may
He's-
not be indicative of the band. I'm just going off the album you gave us.
when I think of 38
It's
Special.
one of my favorites.
Obviously, because when I think of 38 Special, I think of Wild Eyed Southern Boys.
Mm-hmm.
That first album.
See, I've never
grittier.
listened to him beyond this, really.
Well,
this
they-
is my gauge.
The first three albums pretty much tanked. They didn't do anything.
But they were better.
And they're probably good because they tanked.
That's right.
So they're probably
No, no,
the
no.
best
Better
thing they
album.
ever
Listen,
put out.
they really hung on and grew over more than 10-year period.
Rockin' Into the Night.
Yeah.
What a great song.
Now that was great for that time.
Yeah.
Actually, it's a little, and that's one you can listen to and you hear the space in between.
Yeah. Hold On Loosely. That's one of the first songs I ever learned how to play, man.
That's the one that really
yeah. Caught Up in
identifies them
You.
now.
So many.
Yeah, but this was the album he
You're
gave.
right,
You
you're
can't
right.
gauge everything. If he gave
You're
us this
right.
album,
That's true.
So,
That's true.
plus,
Well, I
if you
love
look,
every
look at
song
the
on
album
this
cover
album.
of their first one, it's got Hot Booty on it.
No.
I mean, I'll take that any day. I mean, I would have given him 6-7 mushrooms for
That's
that.
right. Easily. And look, they literally
I
look like
think that's their
Leonard,
fourth album.
Leonard Skinner on the album. They look like Leonard.
They kind of do,
Leonard,
yeah.
Leonard, if you look at Wild Eyed Southern Boy, the album cover, hot legs, and Leonard Skinner. So,
Actually, the Van Sant boy on this one, Donnie,
yeah.
he wore a hat like Ronnie
Yeah.
in Leonard Skinner.
Yeah.
What does he play? Is he a guitar
He's a
player?
guitar player
Yeah.
and a singer. Don
Cheadle.
Don
Barnes.
Quixote.
No, Don Barnes is the lead singer, and I thought he was awesome.
No, I do like his voice. I do. It had a clarity to it.
They started with Southern rock, and they started to emulate what Leonard Skinner and Allman Brothers were doing.
Nobody can emulate the Allman Brothers. You shut your mouth, boy.
I have to agree with that. I mean,
Not the shut your mouth, boy part, but the Allman
I
Brothers.
hate that he got so vicious with you that it needed to be done.
Well,
If I had soap, you'd be getting your mouth washed out right now.
What was that stuff you used? You said your mom gave you that tasted terrible.
Castor oil?
I didn't say anything.
It was acid. That's
It
what she was
wasn't-
feeling.
it was
acid.
battery
It
acid.
was not me.
She was drumming that. It's the first time he saw a unicorn.
Man,
He
you
kept
guys.
saying the R word over and over and over.
She had you lick this frog, and all of a sudden you were seeing different things. Yeah.
So
what's in your soup there, but
so
man,
all right. So
In your soup.
I was thinking as I was listening to this album, it wasn't as good as Tour de Force or Wild Eyed Southern Boys. But let me tell you how I came to 38 Special. Okay, growing up, I worked on farms until I got quote unquote a real job. Right, my mom and dad would drop me off in the morning.
that was my real job.
Before sunset or before sunrise, and then the farmer would bring me home after dark, right? You know, it's where you work, you know, and when you're working on the farms, you can't wear shorts.
Oh, yeah.
So you had to wear jeans and a long sleeve shirt because you're, you know, lifting hay and all this other kind of stuff. So,
Picking up turds.
yeah, hot work, you know, working with the animals and all that. So anyway, so then you break for lunch. And then the farmer's wife would make you this humongous heavy meal that you're like, now I got to go back out in the heat and try to do this work. But anyway, with some of my hard-earned money at 14 years old, I bought a stereo system, right? Kind of with speakers that are like 4 feet tall,
The old
you know?
cabinet
Yeah.
speakers.
And the first record I ever bought was a K-Tel compilation record. Remember the K-Tel?
No,
What? Are you lying?
I was still working in the field. You're listening to music, and I'm still in the
So
field.
you know, K-Tel was this company, and they had license to pull all these songs together, and they just put them all on one
They
record.
just do like greatest hits
Yeah.
stuff.
So it'd be like
Oh, like summer jams
it'd be
or
like
something.
summer
yeah.
jams, right?
Oh, I
And then
know
you
what you
like
mean.
so
Or like
on,
driving
on this
to-
particular one, it had Huey Lewis in the News.
Oh, my
It had
God.
Bryan Adams, Loverboy.
Oh,
it had
Lord.
Rick Springfield, and then 38 Special. So I'm listening to all that. You know, there was
What
some
was
good,
the compilation called? Do you remember?
I don't remember. I want to say it was like, you know, like it was something real 80s,
Yeah.
like, you know, hot hits. You know, like you said, it might have
Hot
been
guitar
like,
hits.
Yeah, it's like, you know, it's like riffs of the ages are long. So anyway, so I'm listening to this, you know, and like I said, it had Loverboy, which Loverboy was pretty cool. You know, I don't know what y'all thought about it. But then, you know,
don't know about cool.
and then it
Yeah,
had,
right.
you know, then all of a sudden I hear Rockin' Into the Night. And I'm like, well, this is a standout. You know, it's got the big fat guitars and all that. And, you know, I was like, I don't know, I was like a freshman in high school, sophomore, something like that. You know, and I had a crush, as usual, we all do on Amanda. So, you know, I
thought it was somebody else.
Well, no, that was Ellen. So,
Ellen,
I had a
yeah.
lot of crushes. I never went out with any of them, but I had a lot of crushes. But anyway, so I had
Go
broken.
to Zesto's with her?
No, never went. So I had broken my leg, right? I had broken my leg, and I was listening to this because I couldn't work in the field anymore. So I was listening. I was like, yes, I was getting pumped up. I'm going to talk to Amanda, right? I'm going to talk to Amanda. So,
She might have pity because I broke my leg.
well, yeah, hey, whatever works, right? Whatever works.
Can you sign my cast?
So we're sitting there, and I was
Get
like,
outta here.
yeah, man. I've been.
Who are you?
yeah, Alan who?
Yeah, right. I've been listening to rock and roll, you know, and I'm getting fired up. I'm going, you know, in between classes, man, because I'm going to talk to her. So you know how it is when, you know, the bell
yeah.
rings. It's
Yep.
insane. So I'm trying to catch up with her. I had a book bag, and it fell off my shoulder, got wrapped up into my crutches.
Oh, Lord.
I fell, and my crutch hit her in the back of the head.
That's a nice.
And she
boy.
turns around, and she goes, why did you do that? And she was crying, and
She didn't give a shit that you were on the floor with a broken leg.
nobody did. They're just stepping over me. But the point is
I mean, I think she was a B word anyways.
Well,
You're good to let her go at that
so
point.
there's probably a reason why I haven't listened to 38 Special.
Oh, it's
It's a scarring band.
yeah. It just brings
Yeah.
back bad
Yeah.
bad.
I was so caught up in her, man.
Man.
Little girl, and then I fall. hit her in the back of the head. And
At least you didn't hit her dog with a newspaper.
I know. You know, have you noticed there's a theme to all my crushes?
I am starting to see.
There's a thing.
Yes.
Alan was this awkward, shy guy who, whenever he tried to do something,
He stalked women.
No, so whenever
He
he tried
stalked
to,
women with a broken leg and then hit him in the back of the head.
oh, okay.
Oh, man.
He was like Buffalo Bill in Silence of the Lambs
Yeah,
with his broken hand.
It puts the lotion. It puts the lotion on.
Are you about a size 14?
Yeah, it puts the lotion. Put the lotion in the basket. Have you ever seen that movie Silence of the Lambs, Bob? You don't know what we're talking about, do you?
You have not seen
Anthony
that?
Hopkins?
Yes.
Yeah.
You had to see.
Yeah, when Buffalo Bill
Yeah.
had the
I-
girl in the pit and he was making her put on lotion.
Yeah,
All right.
one of my favorite
Reminds
movies.
him of his seventh wife.
No.
Fifth?
We've got to get back serious.
Sorry.
This is one of my favorite albums of all time.
Obviously.
And you're
I
making
thought the one
fun
they had
of it.
that song was your favorite, not this one.
Well, it was, but I mean, they were neck and neck.
I got
you know.
you.
All right, so
I love it. That's my style
That's
rock.
your jam.
Now, when I started listening to it, as I told you, I'd been through a tough time, and so I had this buddy that we played.
He got shanked. That was when he got
We played
shanked.
music together, and I remember going up to his house. Go ahead.
yourself.
Hook
I'm
it
sorry.
up.
would you-
I'm going to talk to these people.
Go ahead.
You're not listening.
I think Ellen and I are having our own
Yeah,
conversation.
you go ahead. I'm going to
I
talk to
just
these
like
people.
this fantasy we have of Bob
I
being
know,
in
been
prison,
with a
shanking
getting
people.
shanked.
Getting shanked. That's the first time you shaved your head, wasn't it? You're trying to be hard. He said, all right, who's the biggest guy in
Yep.
here? That guy right there. Okay, who's the second biggest guy in here? So, I'm going to shank that guy.
And some of you guys don't know out there, he puts makeup on his head to hide his skull tattoos.
That's right. We were like 45 minutes in makeup before we can even come on the show. And guess what? It's a spider web with R word.
That's right. We're not going to get through this, are we?
We still got 20 minutes to burn.
Oh, good.
We've
Well,
only gone
okay.
17, 18 minutes.
Okay. Well, it all started.
All right, so Andrew,
Okay.
let's
Okay.
let Brother
I
Bob.
want to
Sorry.
tell you the good part.
Okay.
Okay, I played music with a few people similar, to those guys getting together in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
In my area, we had several people that were musically inclined, and we'd switch around and play with this band and that band, and of course we weren't that good, we're not that quality, but there were certain guys that I played alongside that I got very fond of in a way that we hung out together, and the thing that happened to me back during that time was
What?
yes, I know.
Bob?
Well, I ended up
I mean, we
well,
already know you got 8 wives, don't you?
yeah. How you? Yeah,
I thought those were
Yeah.
jokes.
yeah.
So anyway, go ahead. I got you, Bob.
So anyway, a guy named Barry Bickling, and I went to visit him, and we had played music. There were times that he was equally as good a lead guitar player as he was a bass player. I mean, he could.
Doesn't that really piss you off?
I'm telling
Well, I mean,
you.
it's not hard to be a good bass player if you're a good
Well,
guitar
I was going to
player.
say
All right,
it's not hard to be a good lead player if you're a good bass. But no, he
I mean,
was
the bass
good.
player tells him where to go. I mean, really.
That's a good point.
Yeah, actually, that lays down the foundation for the house.
I mean,
you
I'm
know?
just saying.
My brother used to look over at me when I started playing in his band the first time. He goes, "Just lock in with me. Just lock in with me." I'm like, okay. All right, go ahead, Bob.
So anyway, I pulled up to Barry's house one day, and he's washing his '87 Ranger pickup.
Oh, God.
And
What year is my... I had
you
I
had
a
one?
I
91.
think it was a 91 Ranger.
I had a
had.
91 Ranger.
I had an
It was a
'88
stick,
Bronco
too.
too.
Mine was
Oh,
stick,
too bad
too.
you didn't have
You
that.
had a Bronco too?
Too bad you didn't have
Oh,
that.
man.
Also,
You had a Bronco also?
If you still had that, ooh,
I know.
nice.
I know. I loved it.
So think about it. We all three had Rangers roughly in the same time.
I don't think
I had
I've
a
had a
Ranger
Ford
pickup.
since then.
I think mine was a 72.
Oh,
the
man,
pickup.
that'd be wicked.
I ended up taking the fender and hood off of it to fix the Bronco 2, which had been turned upside down in a ditch and, bent up a little bit.
That was from the frog licking incident.
That was no. My daughter was coming home from college and she accidentally slipped off the road.
Tony?
Yeah.
She was licking frogs?
No, she was driving a Bronco 2. So anyway, I go up and he's washing his truck, and he says, "You want to go to the Drum Pad in Felton, where he had this little music shop called the Drum Pad," and I bought tons of equipment from him over the years, but it's just like this in a guy's basement, and he had music equipment. It was all new, really cool stuff, and it was in his house. So we went over, and
Was it hot?
yeah, Barry liked to
Did you
drink.
get it real cheap?
Barry liked to drink, and I liked to drive his Ranger pickup. So we got in and went, and
You drove a drunk around all the time?
well, we were listening to music, and this is the cassette that he had in his tape deck, and we just listened to that and cruised and.
Okay, let me
That-
just
that
say
reminds-
something about that.
Yeah.
Okay, there seems to be this is a PSA,
PSA.
public service announcement to all you young kids. If any one young kid is watching this, and you're one of those that does not want to get your license, are you crazy?
Yeah, what's the heck
You
with
get that thing in your pocket, you are free to go anywhere you want to
Freedom.
go. But with that, on your point, didn't you just love putting in a tape,
Yep.
driving
Yep.
around? You and your
Yes.
buddy.
Yep.
That's what we did it all
Windows
on
down.
Friday night.
Yes.
Up
Didn't
and
even
down
use the air
yeah.
conditioner.
Up and
Right.
down
I
the
don't
same
remember if
strip
they had
all
one.
night
And if you
long.
had a truck, sometimes there were people in the
Yep.
in the bed of the truck, man. We
Oh,
love
it's all-
that
and-
kind of stuff.
and it's just gone. It's just
And
gone.
it was everybody was playing their own
Yep.
music that they wanted to listen
Yep.
to.
Yeah, yeah. And, it
And
was
that's what
eclectic.
made it
Yep.
so
It was
cool.
awesome.
Yeah,
It's
you
just-
pull up beside a friend.
Yep,
What are you
and there's-
listening
yeah.
to?
And you're
right?
like, that sucks, and you crank yours
Right.
up and try to beat
Nirvana.
Yeah.
Take
you-
this, Kenny G, wide open.
But driving the drunks around reminds me of when I was driving around with Mom. She'd go, take me to the store, get some cigarettes.
and give you a note to go in there.
I'm 11. I don't care. Daddy don't shot. I'm gonna drive a truck. Go get. But that's back when
My
literally.
wife's mom used to give her a note to go down the store. And
Well,
get
I
her
was getting ready to say
cigarette.
that. No lie. I'm old enough to where my
Yep.
mom would pull up at the Alfred's IGA, Independent Grocery Association store.
We had
She'd go-
IGA, yeah.
And she'd give
Yep.
me a couple of dollars, and she'd go get me some cigarettes. I'd go in there and go, pack of Marlboro Reds, please. And
say-
I'm 11.
Yeah.
And the guy'd slide them across, and I'd give $2. I'd go ahead, here's your Marlboro Reds.
I have to.
You could probably vote then too, couldn't you?
I have to admit, some shit was awesome, but some shit was crazy
Yeah.
back then.
She would. I mean, it was all the time, and I hated it because we didn't like smoking.
Yeah.
We were.
Oh, my parents both smoked. Me
Yeah.
and my brother hated it.
We hated it, and
Yeah.
we go now. Marlboro Reds, but nobody ever once.
shouldn't
back
give you
then.
money for a candy bar to go with that or
No,
something.
we were poor white trash. We spent it all on,
Yeah, on
freaking Marlboro
cigarettes.
Reds.
On Zestos and cigarettes.
We spent the last $2 in gas to get to the grocery store, so she could spend $2.
and that's when $2 in gas got you like 10 gallons.
That's right, man. You could go to California on $2.
I remember when you were, hey, I'll give you $5 for gas, and you could go almost anywhere you want.
Man, I didn't want you to fill it up.
I know.
So my brother, we both had Volkswagen Beetles, right? It was our first car, right? He had a.
Were they good ones, or were you working on
No,
them?
mine
all the
was
time?
good.
Oh, really?
Mine was cool. And everybody was always talking little yellow Beetle. I had it tricked out. I had like some centerline wheels.
Oh,
on
cool.
It. I
Nice.
Put, we put a double barrel on it because they always came with a single barrel, carburetor.
Yep.
So that got you from
Man.
67 horsepower to
Yep.
68
Yeah.
horsepower.
Yeah.
So, but we would go out on the back roads. And we would find a straight place, and we would race.
Right.
'Cause
Here they
me and
go.
my
They're
buddy-
lined up.
You needed a lot of space, didn't you?
Look, and it's funny because look, I had,
3, 2, 1.
yes. So I had one. My buddy Chad had one. Stuart had one. Andy had one.
That's
It was like
awesome.
5 or 6 of us.
Yep.
And we would line up. And
Street
like you said,
outlaws.
so they would go,
a
go.
club.
And literally,
Bug Club.
It was a gang.
and when you pop the clutch on those, it was literally like bloop. bloop, 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 bloop. So that's how we would race. But yes.
Yeah,
How the heck did
those
we
were
get
the
there?
days. Listen.
I know where it's going. Hang on, I know where it's going with that. So how gas was cheap, right? So my brother was always, he never had any money, right? And I don't know where he always had change though. And like
He always had change.
you would get in his Volkswagen Beetle, and there would be a mound, like a little hill of change.
Well,
Mostly
then he did
pennies.
have money. Change is
But
money.
I think he was stealing from people. He's a homicide detective now, but I think he was stealing from people at 16.
He gave him the bills but kept the change.
So we would go to the Jiffy Mart, and he would do this. He'd go, "Hey man, will you go pay for the gas?" I'm like, "Yeah, how much you want?" No lie.
Yep.
No lie. You know him, so you can ask him.
I can believe it.
He would reach down and grab a handful and hand it to me. He'd go, "Whatever that is." And I'd go in and I'd go, "There's $1.62 in gas, please." But in a Volkswagen, that get you all week.
Yep. It's like having a motorcycle.
It was, in a Volkswagen Beetle in 1984 gas prices, you could go all day. All right. So
I remember the day, and my wife and I were pissed when it was 99 cents.
Yeah.
We're like, $1 for a gallon.
Yeah. Oh my God! The world's going to end. This is a mark of the devil.
Not voting for that guy next time around.
Right,
No politics, Bob.
Yeah.
That's,
Gosh, Bob.
Well, I was,
Dang.
I was
Trump
talking
24, Trump 24.
I was talking about gasoline. Yeah, so that's it. I never knew about the musicians that were playing on this album, or the Rock and Roll Strategy was the other one.
Have you ever seen them live through the years?
Who?
If I had, I probably wouldn't have liked them as much.
Really?
Why?
Well,
Are they not a good live band?
I didn't think so.
Huh.
Now, I just saw a YouTube video,
Yeah.
but that
Huh.
now they had long hair and
Yeah.
stuff, and all that's changed.
I'll tell you somebody who's a good live band. Nirvana.
Buck Owens.
Buck Owens was great. Yeah. Actually, if you look at all of the albums that we've considered,
Yes.
if you saw them all live, I'd love to go to a festival sometime and have all of them there.
We need a 3 Uncool Cats fest.
Yeah.
The guys I told you about.
Except most of our bands are all dead. They have dead
Well,
people.
that's
in
true.
it.
The Cryptids of the Corn guys are so big now, they're having their own con.
Oh, nice.
All these people are coming.
We got to get big enough where we can
Yeah.
get good bands
Yeah,
to come.
that would
I
be
don't-
awesome.
I don't know what a con is. Well, pros and cons.
Well, no, that's why you ended up in prison.
Oh.
Because you were
Hey, now he knows what that is.
That's what a con is. Yeah, I know what a con is.
Yeah, he had. I just love the fact that Bob had the reputation of shanking the second biggest dude in prison. That's going to be a shirt. Bob shanked the second biggest.
The funny part is that he was in a women's prison.
Caged Heat. Remember that old movie? Caged Heat. Bunch of women in
that's
prison wrestling around and killing guards. Yeah.
You guys are weird.
Holy
Bob.
crap.
Man.
Shame.
Well, it looks like if we're gonna
Yeah.
stick to our goal, we got to
Yeah.
do something.
We
Well,
got 9 minutes to fill up.
I will tell you. No, I don't want to bring you down. No,
No,
let's just-
bring us down, Bob.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we are hyped up. We need to be.
We are.
Dropped down a notch.
Oh, well,
It's
okay.
all the
bring it
caffeine.
Bring it down.
down. Okay.
Bring it
No,
down.
I don't want to. No, let's bring it back up. Say
Alright.
something funny.
So, Bob,
What was your? How many Volkswagens did you have?
I only had one. It was a 1971 Volkswagen Beetle, sunflower yellow. And like I said, we put center line wheels on it. We took the bumpers off, put Nerf bars on. You know what Nerf bars
Oh
are,
yeah.
right? Man, and we had it kind of lowered just a little bit on the front.
He had it lowered and scraped the ground.
Well, that's how it was, just a bit, so it had a little bit of a cool profile. And then Chad had a Baja, and he also had something else, but another Volkswagen Beetle. But man, we used to have so much fun. And you when you get it, it's like driving a go kart.
Oh, yeah,
They're
yeah.
so fun. And I would drive those backcountry roads. I just, and then at one point I was working at Ingles, and the meat department guy, he said, "Man," he goes, I was out in the yard with my wife the other day, and he goes, I hear something coming. It was just winding out. And he goes, I was like, what the hell's that? And he goes, I was like, something's coming fast. And he goes, then you come back going, he goes, but you sounded fast.
I had several, but one of them I had through the winter time.
Mm.
And you know
You have to tell the story.
Well, I've got one where I was driving.
First, you gotta tell everybody who may not have ever had a Volkswagen Beetle what it's like to heat one in the. Do that and then tell your story.
Okay. The heater on a Volkswagen comes. There's a heat exchanger that wraps around the exhaust pipes.
Yeah.
And channels the
Doing
heat.
Tune in Tokyo.
Yeah.
Channels the heat up and into the car.
Yeah.
And
at your ankle.
At your ankles.
And there's no like 49 degrees or see. It's either 780 degrees or nothing.
You could turn it on or off. There was no in between.
And you have blisters on your ankles because
nothing coming out of the dash or anything.
It's literally at your ankle, and so, I would have to drive with my leg over in the summer, in the winter.
So I'm driving along, and I used to like to spray paint things, you know. And I had a can. I didn't have spray paint in the car at that particular time. I think it was WD-40.
Yep.
But whatever it was in the back floor, and that heater vent was open, and I'm driving along, 48 miles an hour,
top speed, 8,000 RPM,
and trying to stay warm and keep my left ankle off of the front heater, and all of a sudden, instantly, the car is full of fumes. That thing exploded, and I thought I had died. And I had to wheel it off on the shoulder and jump out. And I was clearing my eyes like, what had
everything was
happened?
lubed up.
Just all lubed, yeah.
The doors opened a lot better. The windows rolled down.
Hey,
really
nothing squeaks anymore.
Oh,
First time Bob told me that story, we were in church getting ready to go up on stage and play, right? And the whole time I was up there, thank God I was playing rhythm that day, I was just giggling the whole time thinking about that exploding.
You know exactly
That's
what
awesome.
it was.
Yeah.
It was a fun vehicle. But also, what they would do, if you didn't lower the front end and you got in snow, you start to take off because it's rear wheel drive.
Yep.
So the rear wheels are pulling along until the snow picks you up by the belly pan of the car. It packs snow underneath and lifts the back wheels off the ground. So you're there until the snow melts.
Look, they're great cars, though, man. I love them. I love them so
I can
much.
have an engine out in 20 minutes.
Yeah, and there's a picture of me where I used to have really long hair, right? Shoulder length hair, and I lost the bet. I shaved it. Totally bald, right? So there's a picture of me and my buddy Chad, and we had pulled the transaxle out of one, but it was an old rusty one, so we had to fight it.
Yep.
You get 4 bolts and you're out.
Yep.
I mean, literally within 5 minutes you got out. Well, this one fought us, right? So we're standing there, and we're standing over this transaxle like we've killed a wildebeest, right? And I'm wearing a pair of skin-tight, I'm ashamed to say it, but it's because it was the 80s. You know, so all the guys wore
spandex on?
Yeah, no, it wasn't spandex. It might as well have been. It was a pair of skin-tight camouflage sweatpants.
Oh, my God.
Right? No shirt. We're covered in grease, and I'm holding like a wrench, and he's standing there, and he was a portly boy, and he was half naked too, right there, and he's holding like a screwdriver, and we're just covered in grease, but we're like, yes, we have defeated the transaxle beast of the VW.
Well, I'm going to tell you what I scored this 38 special album called Strength in Numbers.
Okay.
And I would recommend...
Oddly enough, strength in numbers. Give us your score.
Mm.
You got to strengthen your number.
Should we do something else?
Oh.
Are we back?
We're back.
We're back. Technical difficulty.
We don't know where we left off, but...
Yeah, I don't know how long that was off, but anyway, we'll figure it out.
Hey, we may have to add to it. But what I was going to say is, as far as scoring this album, I love it. I still do. I loved it from the time I heard it. I don't find anything wrong with it whatsoever. So out of 100 points, it gets 100 points regardless of what these guys say. So, but All right, what are your 3 questions?
Well,
We've
hang
got
on. I want to score
3
it
minutes
first.
and 15 seconds.
I want to
left.
score.
I want to score it. We got.
You want to score it?
I would like to score it for the first time.
Oh Lord.
Okay.
Okay.
Out of 100 points.
I love that.
Well, he may have a different scale than you. He might be metric.
Well, you can't.
Yeah.
It
You
wouldn't be.
imperialist.
It wouldn't be legal.
Oh, that's right. Okay. So, let me ask you. You said you like to paint things with spray cans.
I love to spray paint.
Did you
things.
like do street art? Were you like tagging stuff, and that's how you ended up in prison?
No.
It's like Bob written all over.
I
me.
Yeah,
painted-
you weren't a graffiti guy.
No, I painted my neighbor.
Okay. All right. So
I painted my brother. Well, we painted each other. We were trying to get the ball out of the spray can with a rock. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Another PSA. Don't do that.
No.
kids today don't do stuff like that
Wow.
anymore because they
We're
got
like,
their
let's get the ball out of there. We set the can down.
Yeah.
Bam!
'cause they don't do anything but play video games and look at phones. We
Yeah,
had to
see?
go out and we had to go. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm bored. Let's do something. Let's get the ball out of this can.
What is that thing in
Yeah,
there?
how do we
What's
get
it
that out
look
of there?
like?
He's like, get that rock. Let's get it out of there.
So, while I've never been that big of a 38 Special fan, there are some songs that I like, and I think there were shining moments on this album where there was some really cool riffs. But I give it, out of 10, I give it a 2.
Never give an inch. I give it 100.
All right. So my question, all right, is: would you use this to start a fire if you were camping? The CD. Yes, I would.
Yes.
Well, sure.
You can point the sun at it.
Bob looked at me
If you
like
have a CD, you can use it to point the sun at the fire. And
I was just using a little bit of hyperbole, Bob. Bob looked like he was getting ready to smack me.
I just go get it. Go get my phone and listen to it on Apple Tunes.
Since you attack people that are, the second most,
the second biggest.
yeah, he's the second biggest when it comes to me and him.
Oh yeah.
So shank him. Bob can't see that well.
Okay.
That's a fact.
All right, we got 58 seconds.
All right.
What's your question?
Why in God's green earth did you give us this album now?
Because I've come to realize that no matter what album I bring,
I feel you gave us the wrong album.
you're not gonna like it anyway.
I've liked a lot of stuff
Yes.
you liked.
Wow.
Yes.
It's just you've had a bad string.
yeah.
Everybody has a downtime, Bob.
That's right.
This is one of my favorite albums of all time.
He's always a poor me. They don't like
Yeah, they
me.
don't like
No,
my
I don't care because I've learned.
I think this and Buck Owens was the only one I didn't
Yeah.
like.
There
Oh,
Maybe
well,
there's
thanks.
another one in there.
I think there was like 3 I didn't like,
there
but
was
for the most part,
Chris
I like what
Stapleton.
Bob.
You
It
didn't
might have been like
care
4 or
for.
5. What did you do? 7?
Maybe it's all
right.
of them.
Maybe
I
it's
don't
all.
know. I don't know.
All right, 13 seconds. What's your question?
What question? Are we gonna wrap this up?
We got 8 seconds.
That's my question.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yes, we are.
we did.
We did it. 38 minutes. 38 special. Go check it out for your. Yes. Go check it out for yourself. Make your own decision, like always. Stay uncool. Like what you like, even if it's this 38 special.
That's right. That's right.
Like, subscribe, tell your friends. Deuces.